Welcome to Scorched Earth and the general reading for the sign of Scorpio, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of February. I hope you're well. It's very windy here today, so apologies if the microphone's picking that up. I'm not a weather witch, I can't do anything about this. It's a bit dramatic. Very fitting for a Scorpio reading, I think. So, I'm using the Tarot of the Abyss for you today. What else do I have to tell you? As I am recording this, Venus stations direct today, which is good. So it's going to start moving forward, so all of that energy will start to dissipate over the next couple of weeks. We are still in Mercury retrograde, one of 4 that we have this year, and I don't think we're quite in peak retrograde yet. It's happening. You can expect this to be another month or so before the energy of this is completely gone. It will be slower moving than usual. Usually Mercury is quite speedy, you know. But I think Saturn has something to do with slowing it down a little bit on this one. So any changes that come in, any work that you're doing, anything that you're trying to do, it's going to be a little bit slower than usual. But it will pick up momentum pretty fast once Saturn stops influencing it quite so hard. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you, Scorpio. Can I have 3 cards, please, for Scorpio? There is the first one. We have the Hanged Man in your recent past. I have 2 more cards for Scorpio, please. We have the 10 of Pentacles in your current energy. One more. What's coming towards Scorpio? Thank you. Oh, we have the Lovers card here for what is coming towards you in February. This is interesting. I think you're the first sign that I've read for that has got this many major arcana in a major reading, in the main cards anyway. We've got the 8 of Cups at the bottom of the deck here, and we've got the 7 of Wands behind it, interestingly enough, and the 8 of Swords. Ooh, okay, so there's definitely something that you are leaving behind this month, right? These are the theme for the reading underneath, right? What's running along underneath here. And we have got a movement, emotional movement away from a defensive kind of energy that we've got here. Can be quite guarded, and mental restriction, right? Now, this fits in very nicely with your first card, which is the Hanged Man, but I'm going to pull some clarifiers before I go into this any deeper. I'm going to just, triple goddess, just caught my eye there, so let's see what this has got to say. It is wild out there, honestly. Went out at 7 o'clock this morning to nip up to the shop before I got in here. I was quite glad I was in my car, but then I was like, I could feel the wind moving my car, and my car's big, so like, it was a little alarming at the same time. Hanged Man, please. Where is this here for Scorpio? Thank you. We have the Hermit. And what else do we have for Scorpio, please? Hanged Man. We've got the 8 of Wands. Yeah, okay. Tell me about the 10 of Pentacles. We've got the 5 of Wands in reverse. Show it to you in a second. Got all sorts of cards flying out backwards. Let's put those back in. So, oh, we've got, oh, look at that. We've got 2 cards. I didn't even notice it. They're on top of each other so neatly. I didn't see that there were 2 cards. So you've got the 5 of Wands in reverse, and you've got the Page of Pentacles, more pentacle energy. Tell me about the Lovers card, please. What's the Lovers card here for Scorpio? We've got the 4 of Wands. And we've got the Justice card, Scorpio. Right, look at the cards at the bottom of this deck. We have the 7 of Swords, we have the High Priestess, and we have the Ace of Wands. February is all about a change in direction for you, Scorpio. But it's one of your choosing. And the change of direction is sending you towards your life purpose. Interestingly, I've started doing personal readings again for my patrons, and I've had quite a lot of Scorpios this week, and these same cards have been coming out for them, particularly the Four of Wands and the Justice card, maybe the Lover's card as well. It's a really strong energy. You're being pushed towards the point of something here, Scorpio, and and I think that you're ready for it. I think that you may not be ready for it, but I think you're ready for it, right? It's an interesting juxtaposition, but one that I think that Scorpio carries off quite well. So in your recent past, we have the Hanged Man, and that is a card of, sometimes it's a card of suspension. You know, it's a card of kind of standing still and taking stock, but more often it's a card of, you know, literally turning yourself upside down so that you can see things from a different perspective. It has elements of sacrifice in there too, but this is the kind of sacrifice that, when willingly given, you know, returns something back to you in a much more meaningful way. But it talks about a change of perspective, and I think that this has been a huge thing. I mean, you might have found that you've had a really big mindset shift in the last wee while, because we've got the Hermit card and we've got the Eight of Wands. Now, the Hermit card is, you know, something that Scorpios know very well, actually. It is that process of looking for the answers within you. But there's something that's shifted here. And this has actually been a theme for the Scorpios that I've read for this week. It's almost like there's only so much upside down you can do before you really understand how the land lies from an upside down perspective, right? You don't need to live the rest of your life upside down. Because eventually you'll end up in the same place as you were when you were the right way up, right? It's about becoming complacent with that, right? And I feel like you've done it enough now. We've got this Eight of Wands coming in, which does talk about momentum. Ooh, I'm going to pull the Night Sun out here, out of this deck for you, Scorpio. Tell me about this Eight of Wands. Ooh, what have we got here? We've got the Devil card. And we've got the Ten of Swords, and we've got the Queen of Wands. This is so bang on here, right? So the Eight of Wands for you here is a message of sorts, right? And for most of you, I feel like this is going to have been some sort of intuitive hit, maybe a spiritual download, something like that, that is pushing you towards something. Right? And maybe some of you don't quite know what it is yet, but you're intuitive enough to know that whatever it is, you're kind of being pulled in a direction that you're not resisting. I don't feel any of you resisting it, but I do feel like you're kind of side-eyeing it a little bit and being like, I don't really want to go that way. That's not really something that I wanted to do, but there's a level of acceptance here with that. You know, the Devil talks about the ways in which we are chained, and it is by fear here, but it's come up with the Ten of Swords, and look how this dude is standing here in this Ten of Swords, right? And it's not a Scorpio card at all. What is it? Would it be a Gemini card? I feel like it might be mutable. No. Yes. So it'd be Gemini, I think. It's not a Scorpio card, but this to me is symbolic of Scorpio energy, that higher vibration Scorpio energy, where it's like, yes, I have been wounded, I have done, you know, I've had all of these things happen to me, and yet I can still stand tall and I can lift my head, right? It's about seeing the point of it, almost. You know, one of the Scorpios that I was reading for this week said, you know, it's a very Scorpionic thing to be able to take in those difficult and challenging things, particularly when you know you've been the recipient of difficult energy from other people, and to process that and to release it out into the world in a different way. And that's absolutely spot on, but it's a high vibrational Scorpio thing to do, not a low vibrational one. And you have come so far past your own fears with the work that you have done on yourself personally, that it's now time to change the scene, right? You've hung upside down, you've done the personal investigation, you've done all of this kind of thing. You're being pushed towards something more visible with this Queen of Wands here. Now that's deeply uncomfortable, and I would imagine that's why a lot of you are kind of side-eyeing this energy and being like, Yeah, it's one thing to deal with my own personal trauma, myself, and sit with all of these things. It's quite another to allow anybody else to see it, because that is a state of vulnerability, right? But when we come into your present energy, we've got the Ten of Pentacles. Now, this is really, really interesting for you, because it's the point for me where heritage and legacy collide, right? And definitely for me, there is a sense that for the Scorpios that I read for, that there is a drive not to allow what has wounded you before, what challenges and difficulties you had in your past, or some of you had just downright fucking abusive childhoods, right? Absolutely awful. Not to let this dictate. It's breaking cycles. This is what you're breaking cycles, Scorpio. And so what was handed to you, you have taken in and you have processed and you have released a light out into the world. Now, not what was given to you, but the light. And it's time to start. It's time to start doing it differently for a lot of you, I think. We've got the Five of Wands at the bottom of the clarifying underneath here, but it's come out in reverse, right? So where there was conflict and where there was resistance, that is starting to ebb away. And I think it's because you know, in that way that Scorpios do, you know kind of what is being asked of you now in this next step forwards, because we've got this Page of Pentacles. It's about how you apply your energy moving forwards, and it's a little less into you, and I feel, a little more into other people. Calm down, right? I get it, I understand. But I think that, tell me about this. What do we have? Yeah. We have confirmation, because we have the King of Wands. So you've got the King and the Queen of Wands. Now, it's all about starting to do things. It's about taking action in a particular way. The Queen of Wands is the visibility of you doing it, but the King of Wands, it's active. It's active as fuck. It means it's a little less sitting in contemplation and exploring one's inner space, and it's expanding out from you now. Scorpio, tell me about this Page of Pentacles, please. Thank you. We have the Seven of Cups in reverse and the Seven of Pentacles. In this deck, it's slightly different. I talk about the Seven of Pentacles as being this point where something is, well, actually, maybe it's not actually that different in this one. It's that card of taking stock. It's like, things aren't quite right. How do I change? Do I invest more into something, or do I pull my energy out, right? It's a card of looking at the situation and going, right, something needs to change now, and you know that something needs to change. And maybe the ways in which things need to change are a little less confusing to you than they were before, because there is this acknowledgement that it now needs to go out of you, rather than being all processed and then just kind of, on a very energetic basis, just processing this and releasing it and letting it go. This Ten of Pentacles actually says to me that you have done most of the work that you were given. You've processed most of what was given to you now. And for a lot of you, it's about showing other people how to do it. We've got the Four of Cups at the bottom of the deck here. And this is a card of rejection. It's a card of being taken for granted and all that kind of thing. Scorpios know that situation very, very well. But the Three of Cups is underneath that, with the Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Wands, Swords, beg your pardon. And then the Temperance card at the bottom. Now, the nines are all about the individual for me, right? And I actually love this Nine of Swords here, because there is that flower growing through the top of it. It's like, it doesn't matter how many swords you plunge into the ground, and it is literally bleeding at the bottom there. Like, something, hope, redemption. You call it a redemption arc if you like, with that flower at the top there, right? Can still grow through. Like, so some are absolutely bombarded here, whether it's the will to live, and I don't think it's that, whether it's a spiritual calling no matter how damaged the ground, it is still possible for it to bring life forwards, right? And this is what we've got going on here, because you are about to change the way that you deploy your energy, Scorpio, into other people. Again, like, try not to flinch. Some of you are flinching, I can feel it, right? The Three of Cups is about emotional support. It's an emotional support network. It's the part that you play within an emotional support network. It's the part you play in helping people deal with this. And this is something you understand as well, right? Because you've turned it into an art form. I mean, look at the way she's balancing there. Right? Normally with the Four of Cups, we've got somebody slumped in a pretty sulky position, looking really pissed off and ignoring the Three Cups that are on the ground, and just not even acknowledging the fact that there is literally a sky hand offering them another one, right? It's just like, no, I don't want any of it. I'm here and I'm kind of sulking about this situation. But in this one, you're kind of like, right, okay, well, here are the things that I have learned. Here are the lessons that were delivered to me, which felt very cruel at the time, but I have processed them. I have performed this act of spiritual alchemy on this energy, and I'm now releasing something that is much lighter into the world. Now I teach other people how to do the same. Now, I'm not suggesting that you will necessarily go out and set up a business doing X, Y, and Z, but there's a shift in the way that your energy is affecting people now, right? And a huge part of this is allowing yourself to be open. This is the thing that I think is uncomfortable for you, and I think this is the thing that's had you side-eyeing that energy, because you know that it's a thing that's coming in. The Lover's card, conscious co-creation. But when it's here, with the Justice card, it talks to me about choosing your destiny, aligning, there we go, aligning with your destiny a little better. You know, the Justice card talks about balance. It talks about bringing stability and justice back into the world, but it also talks about karma. And I was getting really heavy karma vibes off the Ten of Pentacles, but in a sense that they have been resolved in a lot of ways. And now it's about helping other people create that balance. The way that you move around people, if you are open to do it, is healing in and of itself. Some of you may actually be choosing to... Okay. Some of you might be setting up groups. Some of you might be starting courses in healing, some sort of modality that assists people navigate the kind of situations that you found yourself in the past. I think a lot of you are going to be doing very similar things to me. You may not be on YouTube and doing tarot readings, but maybe you might take up Reiki, or maybe you might do something else, you know? But there's something essentially shamanic in what you're doing here, because it's based on experience, and there's a willingness to journey with other people, right? That's coming through really strong. And we have the Four of Wands. This is the creation of a new foundation. Sorry about the wind. I do it. This is restructuring your life. This is bringing meaning in for yourself. It feels highly fated. Tell me about this. Wait. Five of Swords. Yeah. I've got the Chariot at the bottom of the deck here. A wonderful indication that you have balanced yourself out very, very well. Now, we've got the Seven of Swords, we've got the Emperor, and we've got the King of Pentacles in here. So however much you are kind of side-eyeing this energy and being like, and a lot of that is going to come from the fact that there's a vulnerability that is implied when you put yourself in that situation, right? You look into the abyss looks back, all that sort of business there. It is, by definition, exposing yourself. But I feel like this is less of an issue for you in February than it has ever been in your life before. because the Seven of Swords sometimes talks about taking a risk, but it doesn't feel risky here. This chap, he's got an egg in his hand. I don't know, I'm sort of the light out, right? He's got an egg in his hand and he's got a look of almost shock on his face there, right? Eggs are symbolic of new potential. And this dude's going, what the holy shit, right? It's discovering the point. It's discovering what it is that you have, that you can give. And he's not even looking at the swords that are on the floor. So it's like, a while ago, this would have felt like a risk to you, but actually the potential of what you could achieve, that you're literally holding in your hand here, is something that takes your eye away from the fact that this is a risk. You know, we've got the Emperor card and we've got the King of Pentacles, and I think that you're taking this very, very seriously. Very seriously indeed. There's a sense of responsibility almost, like is responsibility the right word? Duty? Yeah, maybe, but it's more than that. It's digging deeper than that. It's looking for ways to be able to actually affect change for other people, and it looks like you are really owning this. You're really taking it on board. I said that Chariot card there is talking about how you managed to get your sphinxes to line the fuck up, or horses as they are in this sense. Like, you know where you're going, you know what you could achieve. You seem to have got a real sense of your own potential here, and it might be shocking you a little bit, but it's like, well, I can't really ignore the fact that it's there. I can't really ignore the fact that this is something that is being asked of me now, because for me to agree to be of service to this thing, whatever it is, suddenly fills my entire life with meaning. Everything that I've experienced up until this point suddenly makes fucking sense, because I can help people now. You know, this is huge. This is life purpose stuff, Scorpio. I'm not fucking about. This is amazing. Right, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and we're going to pull this apart a little bit more. February specifically, rather than what has gone before there. So if you would like to join me over there, the link is in the description box below. You just click that and it'll take you to Vimeo. If you're a patron, you get all of that extra stuff for no extra cost, which is all cool. If you don't want to come over there, that's fine too. February is a good month. It feels powerful for you, Scorpio, just in terms of everything kind of landing for you internally, just being like, I get it, I get it, I get it. Anyway, know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.